Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're heading back in time to the age of dinosaurs.
Awesome.
You know those giants who ruled the Earth for millions of
Oh,
years?
yeah, definitely.
We've got this cool video that's all about their extinction and evolution.
Okay.
But it doesn't just cover the usual stuff. It's got some pretty surprising facts that might change how you see dinosaurs.
Interesting. I'm all ears.
Like, did you know that dinosaurs didn't just suddenly appear and take over?
Well, that's a good point.
This video starts way back in the Mesozoic era, specifically the Triassic period.
Ah, right back to the beginning. So, what was the world like back then?
It was a totally different place. Think continents all mashed together in one giant landmass called Pangaea,
Wow.
a much hotter and drier climate.
Okay.
And dinosaurs were just starting to emerge. They weren't the big shots yet.
Oh, really? So who was running the show back then?
Other reptilian groups like the archosaurs and therapsids,
So the dinosaurs had some competition.
totally. It took millions of years for them to outcompete their rivals and diversify into all those amazing forms we know and love.
Makes you wonder how they went from underdogs to top dogs. What were some of their secrets to success?
Well, the video highlights a few key things.
Okay.
One was their upright posture. Unlike other reptiles that sprawled out,
Right.
dinosaurs stood with their legs directly under their bodies.
Ah, some more like mammals today.
Exactly. This gave them much better agility, speed, and stamina. They could outrun their prey, travel
Yeah.
long distances,
Yeah.
and just generally dominate the landscape.
That makes sense. So it's like they were built for both the marathon and the sprint. But surely posture wasn't their only advantage.
Definitely not. Another key factor was their teeth.
Oh, yeah. Their teeth were pretty wild.
The video uses the example of early plant-eating dinosaurs like the prosauropods. They had simple, leaf-shaped teeth, perfect for stripping vegetation.
Makes sense.
But as dinosaurs evolved, their teeth became more specialized. Think of the duck-billed hadrosaurs with rows of grinding teeth for those tough plants,
I see.
or the sharp serrated teeth of predators, like, of course, the T-Rex.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget the king.
And the video really gets into the T-Rex's adaptations, especially its bite force.
So it wasn't just about those massive teeth.
Nope. It was the whole skull structure working together to deliver a bone-crushing bite.
So just how powerful was a T-Rex bite? I've heard some pretty crazy numbers.
Scientists estimate around 8,000 pounds per square inch.
Whoa! That's like 3 small cars stacked on top of you.
Yeah, I think I'd skip lunch if I saw a T-Rex coming at me with that kind of force.
Me too. But it just shows how incredibly adapted they were. They were apex predators for a reason. But, we've talked about dinosaurs rising to power,
Yeah.
dominating ecosystems,
Yeah.
and evolving these incredible adaptations. But there's that one big thing looming in the background of this story.
The asteroid.
Exactly. But before we get to that, I think it's important to appreciate the sheer diversity of dinosaurs that existed. They weren't just these giant lumbering beasts.
So give me the dinosaur highlight reel. What were some of the most bizarre, amazing, or just plain weird dinos out there?
Oh, there were some real oddballs out there. The video actually mentions this one called Therizinosaurus. It was this theropod from the Cretaceous.
There's Xenosaur. That's a mouthful.
It is, but what makes it really weird is it had these crazy long claws.
Claws. Like, what kind of claws are we talking?
Like almost like giant gardening shears.
Gardening shears on a dinosaur. What was it doing trimming prehistoric hedges?
Well, that's what puzzled paleontologists for a long time. At first, they thought it might have been some kind of giant sloth, but later discoveries showed it was definitely a theropod.
So what was it using those shears for, if not gardening?
The current thinking is that Therizinosaurus was actually a herbivore or maybe an omnivore. Those claws were probably for pulling down branches to its mouth or maybe even digging for roots.
A meat eater turned vegetarian. That's a pretty big change. Okay, so we've got a dinosaur with gardening shears. What else is on this highlight reel?
Well, the video also gets into these fascinating marine reptiles that lived alongside the dinosaurs.
Okay, hold on. Marine reptiles. Those weren't dinosaurs, right?
Right, they weren't dinosaurs themselves, but they were part of that same Mesozoic ecosystem.
Gotcha. So what kind of underwater wonders are we talking about?
One that stood out was Mosasaurus. This was a giant marine lizard that ruled the late Cretaceous seas. It was huge, like over 50 feet long.
50 feet. That's bigger than a school bus.
I know, right? And it had these powerful jaws and sharp teeth. It was a top predator in those oceans.
So what was on the menu for a 50-foot sea monster?
Pretty much anything it could catch. fish, sharks, other marine reptiles, and even the occasional dinosaur that got too close to the water.
Wow, talk about a prehistoric buffet. It's amazing to imagine these giant creatures swimming around back then.
Yeah.
But all of this came to an end, right? With the asteroid.
Yeah, it's a bit of a downer, but that's where the story goes next.
So the video focuses on the Chicxulub impact, right? The one that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Exactly. About 66 million years ago,
Yeah.
this massive asteroid, probably around 6 miles wide,
6 miles wide. That's enormous.
slammed into Earth near the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico.
Wow. What would that have been like?
It would have been absolutely catastrophic. The video talks about how the impact released an incredible amount of energy.
Yeah. Like, how much are we talking?
Think billions of atomic bombs.
Whoa. That's just unimaginable.
It would have triggered earthquakes,
Right.
volcanic eruptions
Right.
all across the globe.
That sounds terrifying enough already, but I'm guessing that was just the beginning.
Yeah, unfortunately. All the dust and debris that got thrown into the atmosphere blocked out the sun and plunged the Earth into darkness.
So no more sunlight.
Not for a while.
Right.
And that led to a rapid drop in global temperatures. It was like a nuclear winter scenario.
So the impact itself wasn't the only thing that wiped out the dinosaurs.
Right. It was the long-term environmental effects. No
Yeah.
sunlight meant plants died.
Right.
Which meant herbivores starved.
Yeah.
And then predators lost their food source.
It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
One thing leads to another, and the whole ecosystem collapses.
Exactly. It was a chain reaction that wiped out not just the dinosaurs, but tons of other species too. Marine reptiles,
Yeah.
flying reptiles,
Right.
all sorts of creatures.
It's incredible to think one event could have such a massive impact on life on Earth. But I guess every ending is also a new beginning, right?
Right.
This extinction event paved the way for the rise of mammals and ultimately us.
That's exactly where the video goes next. It talks about how the mammals that lived alongside dinosaurs
Yeah.
weren't those dominant animals we think of today. They were small,
Okay.
mostly shrew-like creatures
What?
living in the shadow of the dinosaurs.
So they were like the underdogs waiting for their chance to shine.
Yeah, exactly. They were just biding their time, waiting for their moment.
And then boom, asteroid hits.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs are out and mammals get their shot.
Right. The dinosaurs are gone, and suddenly there's all this space and resources available.
So it's like a giant reset button for the planet. The dinosaurs' loss was the mammals' gain.
It really was. And the video makes a really interesting point about this. It wasn't just about mammals filling the empty spots left by dinosaurs. It was a fundamental change in the whole balance of power on Earth.
So it wasn't just a changing of the guard, it was a complete regime change.
Exactly. And that brings us to where we are today. Mammals took over,
Right.
diversified,
Yeah.
evolved into all the incredible forms we see now.
From tiny bats to giant whales.
And, of course, humans.
It's pretty mind-blowing to think that our very existence is tied to that asteroid impact millions of years ago.
It really is.
So what can we learn from all of this? From the dinosaurs' reign and their ultimate demise?
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways is the importance of adaptability. Dinosaurs were around for a long time, over 180 million years.
Wow, it's a long time.
I know, right? And they were successful because they were able to adapt to change. Their environments changed. They evolved.
Yeah.
They thrived.
They were like the ultimate survivors, at least until the asteroid hit.
Right. But that brings up another important point. The fragility of life. Even the most dominant creatures can be wiped out by events they have no control over.
It makes you think about our own place in the world and how we need to be mindful of our impact on the planet. We don't want to end up as just another cautionary tale.
I agree. We have a responsibility to protect the incredible diversity of life that exists today and make sure we don't repeat the mistakes of the past.
It's been an incredible journey through the age of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
From their rise to their fall, they've left an unforgettable mark on Earth's history.
And their story isn't over. They live on in the evolutionary adaptations of the creatures that came after them, including us.
So the next time we see a bird soaring through the sky,
Yeah.
we can remember that it's a descendant of those magnificent creatures who once ruled the Earth.
That's a great way to think about it.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.